All right, you can hear me. Does that sound good in the back? All right, thank you. Well, good morning, everybody. We'll just go ahead and start the program since everybody is here and tuned in. Just a quick reminder that we ask you to please silence your phones and other electronic devices prior to the beginning of the ceremony. Thank you. All right, good morning, everyone. My name is Joe Naylor. I serve as the Chief of Community Relations for the Madison VA Hospital. On behalf of everyone here at the William S. Middleton Memorial Veterans Hospital, we want to welcome you and thank you for taking time to be with us today as we observe Purple Heart Day, unveil our new Purple Heart display, and induct 5 new members. We especially want to thank all the family members and friends that made the trip in. I know several of you have traveled from out of state, so we want to thank you for making the effort. I would also like to welcome and acknowledge all of the Purple Heart recipients in the audience today, including our inaugural Purple Heart inductee, Mr. James Hustad. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Jim. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are able, please rise for the presentation of colors by American Legion Post 59 out of Stoughton, and for the singing of our national anthem. Veterans, feel free to salute. Family and friends, please place your hand over your heart and remain standing until the colors have exited the auditorium. The anthem is being performed today by a Madison VA employee, Alicia McCanna.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
You may be seated. Thank you. At this time, I would like to welcome Chaplain John Van Dupp to provide the invocation. Madison VA employee.
Good morning. Please join me for this moment of invocation, prayerfully if that is within your tradition to do so. To the one who gives us all the great things in this world. This morning we lift up those who have gone into harm's way, those who have had moments that require courage in the face of danger. We remember that the value of freedom does not occur naturally, and that the choices we make, while we have the right to make them, are protected by those who are willing to put their bodies between us and those who would turn the world into a very different place. And so this morning we offer our gratitude to and for those who have sacrificed for freedom, for those who have perhaps lost a part of themselves in the service of the rest of us being more whole. We acknowledge them with gratitude and humility and hope that we learn and grow and experience hope and freedom because of their contributions. In this moment, we offer thanksgiving. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain. And now I would like to introduce our Associate Director of Patient Care Services, Ms. Teresa Edgren, to the stage. Ms. Edgren has been with the VA since 2007 and has served in leadership roles ever since. She was appointed to the role of Associate Director, Patient Care Services on March 1st, 2021. Please welcome Ms. Edgren to the podium.
Good morning, and thank you, Joe, and thank you to the family and friends of our honorees and all the Purple Heart recipients in attendance today. Each year, on August 7th, our nation recognizes the Purple Heart recipients. The Purple Heart, one of the oldest military decorations, is presented to service members that were injured or killed while serving our country. There are an estimated 1.8 million Purple Heart recipients. Some of those recipients are living, working, and volunteering in our communities, and several of them are here with us today. Families of those who were lost in combat remember their loved ones today and every day throughout the year. And that is why it's so important for us to formally recognize them. This year, we once again do so by inducting local veterans into our Purple Heart Hall of Honor so that we can honor our local combat veterans and remind staff, volunteers, and visitors of the selfless sacrifice of so many. This year, the William S. Middleton Memorial Veterans Hospital is proud to induct 5 new members into our Purple Heart Hall of Honor. All 5 inductees are well-deserving of our appreciation and gratitude. Their stories exemplify the courage, fortitude, and bravery of those recognized with the honor of the Purple Heart. Today, we proudly honor Warren Schuster, Gary Johnson, William Maves, William Hustad, and Jacob Meinert. We also celebrate the service of all of our Purple Heart recipients and remember the many who made the ultimate sacrifice while serving our country. Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa. As Teresa just mentioned, every year on August 7th, the nation pauses to acknowledge the sacrifices made by the men and women of the United States military. At this time, we want to recognize all of the Purple Heart recipients that are in attendance with us here today. Please stand to be recognized when your name is called and remain standing. Please hold all applause until the names are read. I have a long list here. Bill Rutenmund, Tim Lesage, Jason Johns, Scott Crutchen, Krista Meinert on behalf of her son Jacob, Ronald Marjak, Vern Wendt, James Foside, and Dave Owen. Was there anybody that I missed? Please stand. On behalf of us, thank you for your selfless service, your bravery, and most of all, your sacrifice. Thank you. I would now like to turn our attention to today's honorary guests and invite Teresa back to the stage. In addition to permanent recognition in our Purple Heart Hall of Honor, each inductee will receive a personalized plaque recognizing their induction, as well as a Purple Heart medal. Our first inductee is U.S. Army Sergeant William Hustad. Williams served as an infantryman with the 101st Airborne Division during the Vietnam War. On October 28, 1969, he was on patrol with his squad when a Viet Cong soldier was observed leaving a small village headed towards the trail. Hustad's squad was ordered to follow the soldier, but they were led into an ambush. During his combat operation, Hustad and a fellow soldier were wounded, and another service member was killed in action. Born in Monroe, Wisconsin, Hustad is an active member of the VFW, American Legion, Military Order of the Purple Heart, Wisconsin Department of Veterans Affairs, and many other organizations, including helping us here at the VA. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. William Hustad.
I guess I'd like to make a couple of comments. When I was wounded, well, I'll start with I was inducted into the Army, drafted into the Army in October 28th, 1968. On October 28th, 1969 is the date I was wounded, 1 year later. I've joined a number of veterans groups over the years, and I've volunteered. And it is really all in honor of my lieutenant who was killed on that day, Lieutenant Walter Murrah Gibson. And so I do that in his memory. So thank you.
Thank you, Bill, and for your continued commitment to your community and the veterans alike. Thank you. Our next inductee is U.S. Army Specialist and former Madison VA employee Gary Johnson. On December 5th, 1969, while on a night patrol with the 25th Infantry Division in the Republic of Vietnam, U.S. Army Specialist Gary Johnson and his 8-man squad encountered an enemy camp. They engaged enemy forces and exchanged fire when Johnson was shot in the upper left shoulder. Despite injuries, they completed their mission. Born and raised in Marshall, Wisconsin, Johnson is married with 2 sons and 2 grandsons. He is a retired Madison VA hospital employee, an active member of the VFW, American Legion, and a funeral honors squad. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Gary Johnson.
I'm happy to see everyone here today. Many Purple Heart recipients didn't have that opportunity. And I guess the thing is to never forget that. Not everyone had a chance to come back, have a gathering like this, have wives, children, grandchildren. I feel very fortunate that I came back with everything I went with. I'd like to thank Joe and his staff for putting this program together. Also my wife, who for 52 years has loved me, guided me, and attempted to train me. It's still an ongoing process. As Joe said, I spent some time working here at the VA. Patient care, mainly in the emergency department. I can't say enough about the type of care that I got here at the VA. First time I ever was here for appointment was 1979. So it's been 45 plus years, I guess, that I've been in and out of the clinics. In the emergency department, you grow closer than family. You have days when the sky is falling and there's no way to stop it. You have days when there's one patient, and you learn to savor those days because the rush is coming back. The one thing about being in combat is one of the people that you respect the most is your medics out in the field. Everybody calls them doc, whether they're just a newly trained medic or not. So you start with respect for medical care at that point, and after working with people here at the hospital, it only grew by leaps and bounds. Thank everybody, family, friends, brothers, sisters, grandsons, for being here today to spend a little bit of time with me at this ceremony. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gary. And as a former combat medic myself, I appreciate your appreciation. Thank you, Gary. Thank you. Our third inductee is Sergeant First Class William Maves. U.S. Army Sergeant First Class William Maves served as a motor transport operator in the 1158th Transportation Company during Iraqi freedom. While leading a convoy en route to Fallujah, Iraq, Maves was wounded by a series of improvised explosive devices on March 13, 2005. Born in Edgerton, Wisconsin, Maves is an active member of the VFW and serves on the Memorial Honors Squad, having performed over 600 funerals for fallen service members. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. William Maves.
Well, Gary left a hard act to follow, but I'd just like to say thanks to the staff, Teresa, Joe, Jim, that put this program together, and a lot of thanks to them. And thanks to the William S. Middleton VA Hospital. I've had, unfortunately, a series of treatment here, and the staff and the doctors and everything. I had a 54th wedding anniversary with my wife, July 10th. And I'm not so sure I would have been here if it wasn't for the last couple of years of treatment with William S. Middleton. And the bonus part was my doctors, whether it was whoever, I had all veteran doctors. I had an Army doctor, a Navy doctor, and and so I really appreciate that. It hits close to home, and I'd be remiss not to just say hi to my brothers in the Purple Heart Riders, and thank my family for being here, my grandson, some friends, Mark and John, some of my acquaintances, and I appreciate it. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Bill. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention also the many thanks to the Purple Heart Riders and the local chapter of the Military Order of the Purple Heart who helped establish this program. So a round of applause for all that you do. Thank you. All right, our fourth inductee into the Madison VA Purple Heart Hall of Honor is U.S. Army Private Warren Schuster. Born in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, U.S. Army Private Warren Schuster served in Company I, 35th Infantry Regiment, 25th Infantry Division during the Korean War. From September 6th to September 8th, 1951, Company I faced heavy mortar and artillery fire, radio communications failure, and an overwhelming enemy force. With ammunition nearly depleted, the company fought their way out of enemy entrapment back to friendly lines along with the injured soldiers. During this combat operation, Warren was wounded and later medically retired. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Warren Schuster.
Thank everyone for coming. Thank my family. And I would like just to say that the hospital here is just beyond. They've done. The hospital's super. The staff is just wonderful. I've had the best care that I could ask for. Thank you very much, and thank you for the service.
All right, thank you, Warren, and thanks for waking all of us up. Thank you. We appreciate you. Our fifth and final inductee is Lance Corporal Jacob Meinert, represented today by his mother, Krista Meinert. On January 10th, 2010, U.S. Marine Corps Lance Corporal Jacob Meinert was killed in action by an improvised explosive device during a foot patrol in the Helmand province in Afghanistan. He served with the 1st Battalion, 3rd Marines as the radio telephone operator for his squad and was leading them to a protected position while under fire during combat operations. Born in Racine, Wisconsin, Meinert attended Fort Atkinson High School, where he played trombone in the band and fulfilled his lifelong dream of becoming a United States Marine after graduating a semester early. Ladies and gentlemen, Jacob Meinert, represented by his mother, Krista Meinert.
Okay. Oh, thank you. So Jake was born June of 1989. It's been 15 years and it still hurts. While sitting on my parents' porch that summer, I sat, rested my legs up, laid him in, you know, how parents kind of lay their little baby, and you're looking at him straight down, looking at him, and I'm shocked. I'm shocked that nobody's stopping as they're driving by. I'm shocked that nobody's stopping to see this little baby. He cried on his first day going to kindergarten, but he ended up being the kid at the playground that would run up to another kid and say, "Hey, my name is Jake, do you want to play with me?" He had a way of making people laugh. He would grab the old VHS, the big old cameras, and he would get our cat Chiquita. Heidi remembers our cat Chiquita, hide with Kitty Nip, and laugh and laugh and laugh. He would laugh like Ricky Ricardo from I Love Lucy. And he had a little triangle eyebrow and a little Elvis lip, whatever. He was a natural musician. He ended up playing trombone throughout his middle school, high school career. Ended up being lead chair in musician. He wanted to learn guitar. He ended up
buying on one of those infomercials a guitar, and he would play over and over again, "Wish You Were Here" by Pink Floyd. Over and over, and it's like, dude, you got to learn a new song. Like, you do, you have to. But God, I would, anything to hear him play that again. Anyways, he was very smart. He liked to, he liked to prove that the school system was wrong. Because he was so smart, he refused to do the homework, but then he would ace all the exams. Once he got into middle school, he did get in trouble. I got a call from the school, and they were like, "Hey, could you come in tomorrow? We need to talk about this." And of course, I was angry because I didn't know, like, I didn't know what it was at the time. So I'm angry at him before I'm hearing his side of the story. I had my neighbor come over. My neighbor says, crying, and she says, "I want to thank you, and I want to thank Jake, because Jake stuck up for her son who has a disability, and that's why he was in trouble, because he ended up hurting this other kid, because he was sticking up for the underdog, and he always stuck up for the underdog." He always talked about being in the military from day one. He would play with the little army men, line them up on his bedroom floor and the carpet. Then when he was in middle school, he'd go get the little cherry bombs outside and do the little, throw, cherry bombs at the army men. He studied history, and he studied hard. He studied, like, really deeply, like all the campaigns, all the politics behind it. And then when he was in middle school, 9/11 happened. And that was it. That was it. There was no talking him out of it. He graduated high school, like Joe was saying, did the delayed entry program, went in early, was a very, very proud Marine, very proud Marine. He was proud to have the nickname of Slim. His tour in Afghanistan didn't last long. He went to Iraq, but his second tour was in Afghanistan, and stepped on an IED. They couldn't get to him right away, and long story short, he, like he was saying, he led his team to safety, but he died in the helicopter on the way to the hospital. There's many, many more stories, and I would love to share them all, but thank you for listening to this one, and thank you, my family and my friends, longtime friends. Couldn't have got through without you, so thank you.
Thank you, Krista. All right. Catch your breath for a minute. And now it's time for the formal induction and unveiling of the new Purple Heart Hall of Honor display. To assist with the unveiling, please welcome our inaugural Purple Heart Hall of Honor inductee, Mr. James Hustad. Happy anniversary. Happy anniversary. All right. Once again, please stand if you are able. While serving in the United States Armed Forces, Sergeant William Hustad, Specialist Gary Johnson, Sergeant First Class William Maves, Private Warren Schuster, and Lance Corporal Jacob Meinert distinguished themselves during their time in service. They have been all recognized for extraordinary heroism and outstanding performance of duty in action against enemy forces. During their time in service, they demonstrated exceptional bravery in the face of adversity and an unwavering dedication to duty. The valiant fighting spirit, perseverance, and selfless service displayed by this year's inductees reflected great credit upon themselves, the United States Armed Forces, and was in keeping with the highest traditions of the United States military. It is our honor at the Madison VA Hospital to formally induct Sergeant William Hustad, Specialist Gary Johnson, Sergeant First Class William Maves, Private Warren Schuster, and Lance Corporal Jacob Meinert into the William S. Middleton Memorial Veterans Hospital Purple Heart of Honor. You may remove the cloth. Thank you. You may be seated once again. Thank you, Jim. Yep. This display will be mounted in the Purple Heart Hall of Honor, located on the first floor next to the lab, if you're familiar with the hospital. That's right past the Star elevators on the first floor. We would once again like to thank everyone and all of the family and friends that attended today and made a special trip for this and traveled many, many miles to be with us today. You're welcome to stick around after the ceremony. We're going to take some formal pictures, so you're welcome to come up on stage and take a picture with your veteran. This concludes our ceremony today. Thank you all for joining us. It has been a tremendous honor to be with all of you. Thank you.